Okay, so this was meant to be a video about my writing process. And on getting to that, I'm just realizing that this is a new system and I don't have my recording template on it already. So I think I'm just going to be taking that opportunity to show you guys how to create your own recording template as an artist, so you can easily record yourself and have it sounding sweet, and even as a producer, so you can just create something for your artists. When you want to record your artists, record them and sounding good, sounding very good for you to listen to, and everything is sounding sweet. So let's get right into it. This is Cubase. If you open Cubase from the first time, this is what you should see. Either this or you see it in recent. If you're in recent, first thing you have to do is come to more. Come to more and you select empty. Select empty, then you create a folder where you would like to save the files. You have all your audio recorded, saved in that particular folder. So I'm going to create a folder and title it Boy Fizzy. So after creating a folder titled Boy Fizzy, I'm going to create another folder inside Boy Fizzy's folder. Boy Fizzy is the name of the artist, so I'll call this recording templates. And after you do that, you select the folder. Now you have your Cubase file. Naturally, if I was to record this song outright, the first thing I'll be doing is to set the tempo. But since I'm just creating a template, I don't need to do that. Now I'm first going to create an audio track. You right click on this input or output. Yeah, it doesn't matter which Cubase version, which Cubase you're using, whether it's Cubase 14, 13, 12, 5. You'd always see this. So you right click here, add audio track. Since this first one is going to be for your instrumental, so you change the configuration to stereo. Then you name it beat or instrumental. I think I made a mistake in the spelling here. Instrumental. So this is where your beats are going to be. So most of the times, if you're just recording a beat that you probably downloaded from YouTube, they're usually mastered, not completely mastered, many of them, but many of them are MP3, so most of them reach 0 dB, and you don't want that. Because once your beats are reaching 0 dB, no headroom, if you're recording, you would have to raise your vocals high so that they can match the volume of the beat. And when you do that, the master channel is going to blast, so you don't want that happening. So the first thing you do is you reduce this a little bit. You can come here and change it to -5. Now if you're using an E, don't show -50, maybe -5. Yeah. So if you're using a different version of Cubase, probably Cubase 13, Cubase 5, it might be different. So if I maximize this, you would see a fader here. In your version, it might show something like insert separately, send separately. Just look for the fader version or look for anything that looks like this. Then you click on it, you would already see where you can set the number. You can double click and press -5, or you can just use this fader to bring it down to -5. I'm going to change that back to -5. So after you do that, this is going to be for your beats, and you just drag your beat inside and put it under this instrumental place. So now after that, you add audio track. And I'm going to create tracks for recording my lead vocals and my backup vocals. So I mostly use around 5. Configuration this time around. The reason why you set this to stereo is because for instrumentals and beats, you have things on the left side, you have things on the right, so it should be a stereo track. But for your vocals, you want to record them outright. You're using just one mic, so you're using mono configuration. And I can just select 5 all at once because both the lead and the backup, they're going to mostly the same thing. Like it's mono, they're all mono and they're recording. So I can name this record or rec. So add track. So now I mostly use like just 2 for my lead vocals. So I can select this. And to select, you just press Ctrl down and you click. And I change the color to any color of my choice. And select the other 3, which will be for my backups. And I'll change them to another color. So after doing that, you right click again. And you add the group track. Now the reason for this group track is so I can group the lead vocals. I can group the backup vocals. So I would not have to like add every effect on each of them one by one. I can just stack the effects directly to the lead vocal group, directly to the background vocal group. So I'm going to title this lead vocal group. And I'll create another. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. Now for my group tracks, I think I forgot it here. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to go to remove selected tracks and I'm going to remove that. I usually set the configuration to stereo just in case I pan maybe the lead vocal, which really happens sometimes, or I pan backup vocal. So I change the configuration to stereo. You would always see the configuration here. Then name it lead vocal. Another thing you can do is you can just change the count to 2. And when you do that, you name the lead vocal group 02 to background vocal. Background vocal. So yeah, so now we have this and we have this. You can change the color of the lead vocal group to red, so just as I did for the lead vocals, and for the background vocals to blue, just as I did for the background vocals. So now I'm going to route this lead vocals to the lead vocal group. In order to do that, you would come to this routing, you can undo it one by one. I'm not sure if all the versions is going to allow double, so let me just do this one by one. So you click on the record 01, which is the lead vocal. You come to the routing where you see stereo out. So currently it's going directly to stereo out, so you click on that and you change it to lead vocal group 1. Change the second lead to lead vocal group 1. And you change the backups one by one to background group vocals. Now for me, using Cubase 14, same thing goes to Cubase 12 and Cubase 13. You can select both of them together and you press Shift Alt down. And this is a shortcut that makes my work just very fast. So Shift Alt down before you click on the stereo out. Then holding Shift Alt down, even like this, and you select background vocal group. That makes these 2 go directly to background vocal groups at the same time. See now both of them have been changed, rather than doing it one by one. So now we have that. We have our instrumental channel playlist. Let me call it that. We have our lead vocals channel. Yeah, they are actually channels. And we have our background vocal channels, and they are all being routed to their groups. So now you want to add effects to the groups. Now for me, I'm a singer and I'm not a rapper, so most of the times I use auto-tune. So you select. I'm used to adding like plugins at the same time to each channels, but I'm not sure people that use like Cubase 5 or Cubase 8 can do the same thing. So let me add them one by one. So now you select this, you go to the insert. Now you can see insert in different ways. You can click F3 and you see the complete mixer channel, and you can add auto-tune to it. I'm probably going to do another tutorial showing using of stock plugins to create a preset whereby you can actually use. But for this one, I'm going to be using third-party plugins. So I had auto tune, and wherever the key is, by the time you're recording, depending on the type of vocal you're recording, you select the settings. So I'm going to add auto tune to all the vocal channels. So right now I'm clicking alt down and dragging it to all of them. So this is the only thing that I'm going to have on my vocal channels separately, because I don't want auto tune to act on two vocals playing at the same time. May not be correct. So now I go to my groups. Instead, just as I mentioned earlier, instead of having to add effects on everything one by one, you can just do that on the groups. And on the group now, for my lead vocal, I'm going to have the first thing. Let me press F3 again rather than doing it here. So the first thing I'm going to have is gates. So this is used for reducing, like eliminating noise or reducing background noise in your vocals while you're recording. So I'm using the Fab Filter Pro Gates, and I'm just going to bring it down to -40. Now these values I'm using is based on most of the vocals I record, usually fall into this place, and let me say 97% of the time, so the template works just for it to record, So after my gates, I had an EQ. So I'm using Fab Filter Pro Q3, and you can use the presets here. In that default setting, you click on default setting, you go to vocals, click on vocals. But after doing that, you click on this red, the last high pass or low cut, and you change it to 100, because you want to cut out all the low frequencies that are necessary. There's nothing here that has to do with the vocals. It's just sounds that's just going to be clashing with the beats, bass, and kick. It's unnecessary. So you do that, then after that, can hide a compressor. So I'm using the Fab Filter Pro C2. For this, I usually change this to, but either that, you can just come to the preset to go to vocals, and you go to punchy vocals, and you use that. So from there, you have your Pro Q, you have your EQ, you have your gate, you have your compressor. So afterwards, you can add a reverb. For reverb, I'll be using Pro R, which is also Fab Filter. So whatever, you can use the default settings here for the reverb, is good, but make sure you turn down this mix to about 15%. And afterwards, then you can add your delay. For delay, I'll be using waves, Manium delay stereo. And now for this, you look for the mix knob 2 here, and that's the dry wet here, and you bring it down to also 15%, or say 10%. So now you have this, you can easily duplicate the same thing you have on your lead vocal to your background vocal. And now to do that, you just drag and drop. Okay, sorry, alt down, drag, you click, then you drag and drop, and we're done. That's it. So now you select it, you go to file, But before we go to file, before we save this as a template, I also want you to do something else. So let's go to our stereo outs as our master channel, and let's add a limiter. So anything we record, no matter what we're recording, it doesn't pass that 0 dB and it doesn't get to blast. Instead of adding a limiter though, I prefer you add a soft clipper, because sometimes when you add a limiter, it affects your recording, and while you're recording, it tends to lag, and you tend to be looking for, why is my recording lagging? Like, what's happening? Is it my sound card that is having issues? But many times it's just the limiter or maximizer that is on it while you're recording. So before you add the limiter, you probably want to record, like finish your recording. So after we add the soft clipper, that's it, we're done. So you come to file, you're not going to save, you're not going to save as, you're going to go to save as templates. You could click on that and new presets. You can say by Fizzy recording templates. And yeah, press OK. And there you have it. So now you can close this. You don't need to save it. Go to file. Oh, it's already showing here. So if you go to file, you go to new projects. It's not showing the new project because this is what's going to come after you click on new project. You would see that same empty, and you will see the new template that you've created. You double click on the templates. You have to select where you want to save your files. So now we already have this by Fizzy, we already have this recording template. We can use the same thing again. You select folder and loading. Here you go. So right now all you have to do to record is know the tempo of your beats, set your tempo, let's say 113, drag a beat inside here, put it on the instrumental, and start recording. That's sweet. So now that we have this, let's go down to me showing you my writing process.